Hello, I'm Gil Zilkha. Welcome to my channel. This video is taken from my larger video discussing the major symphonies, which is a follow-up to my previous video on the major symphonies. This one is covering the second grouping of symphonies. And if you enjoy this, I hope you'll take time to look at that larger video. Just know that you can click through it. It's divided into chapters to check out whichever symphony you're interested in. So I hope you enjoy it. Now let's move back to the 20th century. And now let's talk about a Danish composer from the early 20th century, Carl Nielsen. And if you love just the color and dynamism of orchestral writing, you will love Nielsen. He was a really inventive composer, basically tonal in his language, but very inventive and forward-looking. His works tended to have a lot of energy, almost kind of restless energy. And suitably enough, the first work I want to discuss is Symphony No. 3, Sinfonia Espansiva. And for this one, I recommend Myung-Whun Chung and the Gothenburg Symphony from 1985. Wonderful sounding bis recording. The Sinfonia Espansiva, like I said, it's a typical of Nielsen. It's got this wonderful energy. It's a very kind of almost like life-affirming symphony. It's also got this haunting slow movement with soprano and baritone have this sort of wordless eyeing towards the ends, this kind of ethereal feel to it, and it sounds wonderful in this recording. It's beautiful, it's exciting, it's got great depth to it. The combination of the engineering and the interpretation really are ideal for this work. It really is an ideal introduction to Nielsen, in fact, I would say. However, I also want to recommend this earlier recording from 1946. This is with Erik Tuxen, and this is a series of recordings that were done with the Danish State Radio Symphony Orchestra that featured different Nielsen specialists. And they really are worth hearing despite the limited sound. This particular one, it of course doesn't have the dynamic range that you get with the Chung recording, but it's very soulful and committed, and it really brings home that sort of, like I said, the life-affirming spirit of this work. So that's the third. And now let's talk about what is arguably his most popular symphony, and that is No. 4, the Inextinguishable. And again, with Nielsen, you just have this frenetic energy. It right out the gate, he just starts out that way. And often in Nielsen, it's this feeling of chaos. But then eventually there's a resolution to the chaos. And you definitely get that with this work. There's this wonderful moment at the end of the third movement where the strings just go nuts with these arpeggios. And then that leads us into the frenetic final movement. And the ideal way to get to know this work, in my opinion, is with Jean Martinon and the Chicago Symphony. This was recorded in 1966. Very good, very present sound, and they bring an electric reading. It's very virtuosic, very exciting, beautifully played. Martinon was a very dynamic, exciting conductor, and I can't think of a more ideal way to get to know the Fourth Symphony. However, I also want to recommend another one of those older Danish State Radio Orchestra recordings, and that's with Lonnie Grøndahl, recorded in 1951. Fairly decent mono sound, obviously limited. But there is, even though it's not as virtuosic as the Martinon, there is an intensity and passion and commitment to this one that is also worth checking out. And then finally, let's discuss the Fifth Symphony, which actually is my favorite, and I think it vies with maybe with the fourth as the most popular. It's a 2-movement work, and it's really inventive. Again, it starts out harmonically. There's sort of this chaos, and as you move along with the first symphony, that chaos is enhanced by the percussion on the side. There's this snare drum kind of going off on a tangent and almost kind of vying with the orchestra. And then the second movement just continues that feeling of tension that really doesn't resolve until the very, very end. And my top choice for this work is Jascha Horenstein with the New Philharmonia, recorded in 1969, sounding very good. And Horenstein, it's almost an ideal conductor for a work like this because he was a master at building and resolving tension. So that first movement, you feel it throughout, and the passage with the snare drum is wonderfully done. And then the final movement, as Horenstein tends to do, he doesn't start out at a breakneck, frenetic speed. He kind of lets the tension build a little bit more methodically, and it's really captivating throughout until the final chord where things finally resolve, and it's just really overwhelming and just really powerful. Another Horenstein recording that really delivers the goods in terms of building the climaxes and delivering the goods emotionally. However, I also want to recommend another one of these older Danish State Radio Symphony recordings. This one is with Thomas Jensen, recorded in 1954. One of the better sounding recordings from this series, and maybe the most recommendable of them all. It's very intense. It's got this feeling of freshness and spontaneity, kind of a sense of wonder in the quieter sections. So if you want to be sold on the Fifth Symphony, this is also a very good interpretation despite the sound quality. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I hope you'll also take time to click the like and subscribe buttons. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day and happy listening.